welcome to TD Place in the nation's capital of Canada, Ottawa, Ontario, as Ottawa Fury FC hosts Indy 11 in this crucial matchup in the USL East. Thank you for joining us here today on what is a very chilly Wednesday night here at the nation's capital. Gordon Smith alongside myself, Tyler McDonald. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight in what should be a fantastic matchup between two clubs whose rivalry stems back years and years. The rivalry continues here tonight. It really does, and not only the rivalry, but it's a huge game for both teams. Obviously, Indy 11 want to stay in touch with the teams ahead of them at the top, get into those top four spots. The Fury just trying to hang around in a playoff spot right now, making sure they finish 7th or 8th if they can to at least host a first-round playoff game. Player to watch here today for Indy 11. He's been a formidable force in front of goal for Indy all season. It's Tyler Pasher. Yeah, the Canadian obviously leads the team with 10 goals on the season. With Iose being out suspended tonight, he will be required to get the job done in midfield, drive forward, get some chances on goal for the Indy 11. For Ottawa Fury FC, it's their number one, Callum Irving, who will be looking to rebound after this past few performances for him. Yeah, a couple of goals, unfortunately, you could possibly put down to Callum, but I think he's just got to shrug those off, get back to his early season form. He was in outstanding form at the beginning of the year for the Ottawa Fury. It has to continue inside these final 4 matches. I'll get your hot chocolate ready. It should be a fun matchup here tonight at TD Place. Gordon Smith will be alongside Graham Ivory on the call. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
This program brought to you by Gabriel Pizza. Gabriel Pizza, home of the bigger, better pizza. Now available online at gabrielpizza.com.
I waited till I was 49, 4 months short of my 50th birthday to start. Wish I'd started a lot earlier. Just start. The first step's the hardest. It's never a direct route to get there. What better investment can you make? Because without health, we've got nothing.
All right, everyone got everything?
Let's go.
I have to go pee.
All right, okay.
All right,
Okay.
Here we go.
Wait, Dad, hold on. Something.
Okay.
All right.
I need my pillow.
Christopher!
Nah. No. You can't take that.
The brand new 3-row Subaru Ascent. The perfect family SUV for your mostly perfect family.
There are 8 million kids in Canada. By the time I finish this sentence, 6 of us will be cyberbullied. By the end of the month, 1 million bullied. We're not okay with that.
Welcome back inside TD Place. We're about set to get underway between Ottawa Fury FC and Indy 11. Graham Ivory alongside Gordon Smith will have the call tonight. Tyler McDonald will be joining us pitchside throughout the match as we have a look at the starting lineup, starting with the visitors, brought to you by Gabriel Pizza. For Indy 11, starting in goal, Evan Newton, Mitchell Osmond, Carl Ouimet, Nabil Hackshaw, Matt Watson across the back four, Drew Connor, Kenny Walker, Tyler Gibson, and the Canadian Tyler Pasher across the midfield. Of course, Carl Ouimet on defense, another Canadian in the lineup for Indy tonight. The former New York Cosmos, Eugene Starikov, gets the start up top, has yet to score this season for Indy 11 after scoring 9 last year for them. Aluan Jahate also starting up front for Indy 11 as we have a look at the starting 11 for Ottawa Fury FC. Callum Irving gets the start in goal for Ottawa. Of course, coming off that 3-1 loss Saturday in North Carolina. The back four, Onwal Bassi, Nana Adakora, who returns to the lineup for the first time since the 24th of July. Thomas Meyer-Giguère, Jamar Dixon, who makes his 90th career appearance for Ottawa Fury FC. That's second all-time in club history. Thiago de Freitas, who scored in that 3-1 loss on Saturday. Charlie Ward, Jeremy Gagnon, Laparé across the midfield. Haji Berry, Kevin Oliveira, and Carl Howarth, the captain, the front three for Ottawa this evening, Gord.
Yeah, a fairly strong lineup with regards to some of the players that are out injured and what have you, but you can throw form out the window when these two teams play each other. They're always tightly contested games. I think it starts an awful lot of one-goal games have been between the two teams. I think the key is going to be, can Indy 11 weather the early storm? I would expect the Fury to come out at home here. Poor result last week, great first half. Second half, unfortunately, weren't able to continue it. Ended up on the loss of a 3-1 scoreline. Pittsburgh defeated Indy last week 3-0 as well. To be honest with you, I don't know if you've seen the goals, but they're absolutely cracking goals, Graham. You can't fault any of the goals for Indy 11, but it was 3 games in a row now that Indy have lost. Ottawa's a 1-game losing streak. Either of these two teams has to make sure they pick up maximum points tonight. Yes, 1 point would be suffice, I think, for the Ottawa Fury. I think the Indy 11, though, if they're looking at having designs on, as we said, Graham, pushing up into a top 4, top 3 spot, 2 even, they've got to get 3 points.
Well, unfamiliar territory for Indy 11 this season. It's been a very positive year for the same side that turned pro in 2014, much like Ottawa Fury FC as they started. They were expansion brothers back in the 2014 NASL season, but they've lost 3 straight, having scored just 1 goal and conceding 6 in that poor run of form for them. Whereas Ottawa Fury FC, they dropped that 3-1 decision in North Carolina on Saturday, failing to win 3 straight yet again this season. They haven't won 3 straight since July of 2016, so it's kind of been an elusive thing, and there's been some good unbeaten runs in that period, right, where there's been draws mixed in with those victories, but they've yet to kind of synchronize 3 straight wins, and they could certainly use a positive run of form in these remaining 4 games. And of course, you mentioned that win that Pittsburgh had over Indy on the weekend. Pittsburgh winning last night now to take over top spot in the USL Championship Eastern Conference, and that is one team that is in fine form at the right time.
Yeah, well, based on the teams that we've seen come in here over the last couple of months, certainly, for my money, Pittsburgh, well organised, well disciplined. You know exactly what you're going to get with that type of team, but they just seem to be firing on all cylinders right now. And as I said, the first 2 goals that were scored, absolutely top drawer in that game against Indy 11. Long range efforts. Goalkeeper Newton, absolutely no chance.
Kevin Oliveira in possession for Ottawa Fury FC, cuts inside the penalty area. Oliveira with a low shot straight on to Evan Newton, who was able to get down and make the save. A good run through 4 white shirts by Kevin Oliveira.
Yeah, he did the hard part, Graham, didn't he? He got beyond the defenders, and when he opened up his body there just to try and curl that ball into the far right-hand corner, just unable to do so. But with regards to the lineup here for the Ottawa Fury tonight, you touched base on that back pairing, Atakora and Thomas Merjaguer. They were terrific last season in a lot of games in front of Maxime Crépeau. We haven't seen an awful lot of that pairing since, I believe it was the Halifax Wanderers game when Nana went off, I believe with a concussion, and he struggled on and off to get back into this lineup. He's preferred here today. I know for a while Boskovic and Merjaguer were the 2 that were preferred 3 games in a row, but now Nana's back in, and I'm sure he'll be looking to get on a decent run in these final 4 games.
Atakora has appeared in 13 matches for Ottawa this season, 6 wins, 7 draws, no losses when Atakora gets into the lineup. So certainly very welcome to have him back in the 11 tonight for Ottawa Fury FC as Indy 11 come looking for something here. That one delivered into the box. Now Carl Howarth back in possession for Ottawa. Howarth playing in his 161st game with Ottawa. And that ball forward looking for Haji Berry forced Evan Newton well off his line to clear that one away. And foul called there on Carl Howarth, much to his protest. To our official tonight, Serge Topalian, who's in the middle, Gabriel Lemieux, and Sean Hornsby on the lines, and Sebastian Noshraviani is the 4th official this evening.
Well, Cristiano Francois not in the lineup here tonight. Carl Howarth filling in on that wide right position. He'll be asked to work with Jamar Dixon down that right-hand side, much to see if we can get the chemistry that Haworth and Francois have had all season. Dixon, Haworth have got to try and work that little bit of magic down the right-hand side, try and get Carl activated as early and as often as possible here for the Ottawa Fury.
Indy 11 sporting one of the best defensive records in the USL, having conceded just 26 goals on the season.
And that's why I think that 3-game losing streak, Graham, that they're on right now, just totally out of the blue. I mean, 3 games ago they were still on 56 points. Well, a couple of teams have bypassed them in the standings. They were well up there. Even if they pick up 4 out of those 9, Graham, they're sitting in second place with 60 points. So
much the same though with Ottawa. You know, you look at that poor run of form. Ottawa, you know, they were on just 5 losses when they kind of went into that. They were on 4 losses when they went into that 4-game losing streak. Then they won 2, and then they lost again on the weekend. And much like that, the big difference between Ottawa and Indy for the better part of this season is, you know, Ottawa's been sitting on 9 draws, and they've drawn a few more games than they certainly would have liked to. Whereas Indy come into tonight's action with 17 wins on the season, and that's certainly going to help you, especially at this time of the year when the games get that much tougher, regardless of who you're facing. Whether teams are eliminated from playoff contention, well, they're more than happy to play spoiler, and they're playing a lot looser than others. So there's no easy games in this 4-game stretch to finish out the USL Championship regular season.
Yeah, I think it's really terrific USL Championship-wise that you've got 5 teams with 4 games left to go. Some have 3, all within 5 points of each other, Graham, fighting out for those top 4 spots, which we know guarantees you a home playoff spot. But even at 7 and 8 that the Ottawa Fury are fighting for, they're only 3 points up on St. Louis, and there's all sorts of points to be gained over the next 4 games, as we said, in some cases 3. The other 3 teams the Fury are battling out with a playoff spot. They've all got 4 games left to go. If we got a chance to touch on what they've got left during the course of the broadcast, we certainly will do that. But really interesting the way this is shaping up. That's offside.
Flag is up, and that's on Tyler Pasher down that left side. 6 Canadians in the starting 11 for Ottawa this evening. 2 Canadians in the starting 11 for Indy 11. Of course, Carl Ouimet and Tyler Pasher. And there's quite a connection actually there, Gord, between Pasher and Carl Ouimet, as well as Nana Atakora and fellow Canadian Maxim Tissot. Those 4 played together back in the 2017 NASL season when they hoisted the soccer bowl for the San Francisco Deltas alongside former Fury head coach Mark DeSantos.
Yeah, one and done, wasn't it? It was basically a good chance.
Gagnon Lapare with an effort at the near post. Missed a couple feet to the left of Evan Newton. But a good effort from just on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Yeah, Indy 11 just switched off there, and he had a decent drive from just outside the box. It was a decent run there, though, by Kevin Oliveira to take the closest defender away into the penalty box and just opened up that space for Gagnon Lapare. Unfortunately, just couldn't keep it on target.
Oliveira still going. And Evan Newton out to challenge, and Oliveira looking for a foul call there. It's not going to come. Play carries on. Kenny Walker tried to play that one down the line, takes a knock off Thiago de Freitas, and now he knocks it into touch for an Indy throw.
Kenny Walker, there's a name obviously that we know from a few years back with Cincinnati. Quite, for my money, scored the best goal ever scored here at TD Place from all of about 50 plus yards, Graham, as you and I were both
a screamer.
Yeah, you and I were both doing the game that day, and it was an absolute scorcher right over the head of the keeper, and I believe that even made the ESPN plays of the week that week. So he certainly knows the road to go, that's for sure.
Kenny Walker, Evan Newton, Tyler Gibson are 3 former FC Cincinnati players, and that's just in the starting lineup here today. Of course, Paddy Barrett, one of the substitutes on the bench, another former FC Cincinnati player that have certainly helped take Indy 11 to new heights this season. Indy in possession down that left side. They've won twice here in their history at TD Place. Ottawa, though, getting the better of Indy 11. 6 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses lifetime against their expansion brethren.
That's a pretty decent record, isn't it? You know, certainly not the greatest record here. It was a 2-1-2. So obviously when they go on the road, they're able to pick up some points. They've been able to pick up wins in the past. Obviously, earlier this season.
First ever road win in Fury history came in Indy.
The referee might just call that a quarterback here. It looked like he did get all ball, but he did go in extremely hard. Not sure if we got a chance to see that coming up very shortly, but you saw the ball was there to be won.
Oh,
yeah.
That's just, no, that is hard, solid, good defending.
I just wonder though if it was the right leg that was up in the air, Graham, as he went to ground with, and he is getting a yellow card. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure he'll feel hard done by. He did get all ball, possibly the follow through, and that right leg being a little bit up, or the left leg, sorry, being a little bit up, possibly was what the referee had seen as maybe a yellow card defence. And unfortunately for Atakora, he's now got to go the better part of 80 minutes carrying a yellow card, and that's never easy as a central defender to do.
Nabil Hackshaw plays that one forward, but no one in white there to get on the end of it. Out for a goal kick, of course. Nabil Hackshaw, familiar to Fury fans from last season as a member of the Charleston Battery. Hard to miss him out there with a quite the flow that Hackshaw rocks out there.
It really is. I'd kill for hair like that, to be honest with you.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
I know you were thinking it.
Got that thought bubble reading app, do you?
There we go, yeah.
That header from Ono Obasi goes into touch. Of course, Obasi back in the squad after going down injured in that match against the Tampa Bay Rowdies 2 weeks ago here. So good to see him back healthy.
Well, Indy 11 have settled in here quite nicely. We did say to try and weather that early push from the Ottawa Fury. 1 or 2 forays into the 18-yard box. Oliveira with a drive, Gagnon Lapierre with a drive. But for the better part, Indy 11 quite happy to let Ottawa have possession in their own half and deal with it when it comes into their own half. I mean, the nice thing I'm seeing from Indy 11, they're looking to play those balls down the channels, getting decent runs from different players, and the Fury obviously have to make sure they're picking up those runs, whether it's Ward, whether it's Thiago, just to make sure that no one's getting a free rein. Don't stop running. You've got to keep picking up your man, track them back, and make sure there's no extra players in that 18-yard box.
Let's head down pitch side and hear from a chilly Tyler McDonald. Tyler.
Guys, yeah, it's a little chilly down here at field level, but the players are all bundled up. I'm luckily don't have a hot chocolate with me, though, which would be nice. Note coming from the Ottawa Fury FC sideline, Nikola Popovich looking for his men to get closer to the Indy 11 ball keeper when they're bringing the ball upfield. Feel like his team aren't reacting fast enough to try and cause the turnovers that could lead to a counterattack for Ottawa Fury. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Tyler. Get him a hot chocolate at halftime.
Yeah, stop his whining, for gosh sakes. You know, it's a feature of the Ottawa game over the course of the entire season. We've seen the fullbacks getting activated, whether it's been Obasi down the left, Howard down the right. I think we've got to see more of that. Even in this early stage of the game, you've got to try and get your fullbacks more involved in the play. When you're playing that narrow 3 in midfield, Graham, it's imperative the width comes from your 2 fullbacks.
Captain Carl Howarth in possession. One of 2 players on 8 goals this season. The other is Cristiano Francois. Val Fall sitting on 9 this year. And Francois, Fall, and Oliveira need just 1 goal to tie Oliver for 4th all time in Fury scoring with 10. More Sam, who's an available substitute this evening. He sits on 7 goals, of course, scored 7 inside those first 14 games before he went down with that injury. Came on as a second half substitute last Saturday in that 3-1 loss in Cary, North Carolina. And that victory for the home side bridged the gap between 8th place Ottawa and 7th place North Carolina. It was 2 going into that game, now 5.
And that was a massive game. I mean, that was a huge loss for the Ottawa Fury with regards to making sure they're getting themselves pushed up the table. Carolina was coming in on a run of 4 games, 4 winless games, 3 losses and a draw. They were finally able to right the ship and pick up 3 points on the weekend.
Daniel Lapare gets to that one as Indy is pressing here. But a win tonight. Ottawa does have a game in hand on North Carolina, so they can send that gap back to just 2 points. As Carl Howarth moves things forward for Ottawa. Kevin Oliveira. Gagnon Lapare sends that one to the left side. Haji Berry. Berry in for Oliveira. He takes a knock and he'll get a foul call here. About 21 yards out. And you know Carl Howarth is going to trot over to take this one.
Yeah, we know what's coming. That's for sure. I mean, the one thing that I did notice when that ball got over to Haji Berry in the previous little while, a lot of times the Fury players been left on their own, Graham, and he's getting closed down by 2 or 3. That time Oliveira was coming across nicely. Obasi was supporting him from behind. He did have options, took the Oliveira option, and now, as you said, 22, 23 yards from goal. We have an opportunity for Carl Howarth to add to his total on the season and open the scoring here tonight.
Yeah, I think they spotted it a bit
further back.
The initial foul
he'll probably be happier with that because an extra couple of yards allows it more distance to get up and down.
16th minute. Howarth's effort right on ice, scores! Carl Howarth absolutely freezes Evan Newton, couldn't see it through the wall. 1-0 Ottawa.
Well, I mean, that was exactly what happened. I think Newton was hedging his bets, leaning towards the right, ready to go up and over behind the wall. And Carroll probably noted that, just decided, I've got space on that right-hand side. Yeah, you just see Newton there take a couple of little bunny steps to his left, completely beaten when Carroll fools him, goes around the wall. All Newton can do is fall back into goal. Carl Howarth with a terrific strike once again off a free kick. It's just non-stop for him this year, and we knew, Graham, the minute that free kick was given, Carroll was coming across from his wide right position. He knew exactly what was going on, and in the 16th minute, as you said, the Ottawa Fury with a wonderful goal to take the lead against the Indy 11.
His 9th goal of the season, and number 22 in his Ottawa Fury FC career. And a great time for the captain to open things up here. And you know how effective you are at that when, you know, oftentimes you get a free kick from that range and you've got 2 and 3 guys in the argument, who's taking this one?
There was no doubt.
There's never arguments anymore.
No doubt whatsoever.
Hasn't been for a couple months now.
If Val Fall had been on the field, he may have thought, let's let this finish off.
Indy looking for a response here. Drew Connor trying to find a way around Onawa Obasi. No luck for Connor. That one knocked into touch for an Indy throw.
Yeah, Obasi doing well just to stay with him. A little bit twist and turn. He made sure he kept the ball in front of him, and that's exactly what he was able to do to get the ball cleared. Free kick now for the Fury.
Kevin Oliveira brought down near his own bench, so Ottawa will reset deep inside their own half. Now leading 1-0 on Carl Howarth's 9th goal of the season. And if memory serves correct, that's 5 from free kicks.
It doesn't matter how many you get every time. And we know, we mentioned it a few weeks ago, it's an expectation now. Every single time he takes that ball, places it in front of him, and sums up his options. Am I going over the wall to the left? Am I going around it to the right like he did on that one? And all it does now is just settle the Ottawa Fury down. Obviously, the nerves that have been there from the game against last week, you're coming up against a team who's already qualified for the playoffs, sitting in 5th, where a win tonight would put them up into 2nd place. I believe this is the only Eastern Conference game being played tonight. I think there's a couple out west later on.
You are.
But I think this is the only Eastern Conference game tonight. So this result will have huge implications on how this playoff table will look at the end of 90 minutes. the runner on the far side just had to, he was ready to go, Graham, and unfortunately he had to time it a little bit better and he was going to be offside.
With just weeks remaining, the pressure is officially on. Tune into ESPN 3 on October 2nd at 10:30 p.m. That's tonight, as El Paso Locomotive look to secure one of the final playoff spots, while Fresno FC has its sights set on hosting some playoff games. It's Locomotive FC and the Foxes tonight at 10:30 p.m. for Wednesday Night Soccer on ESPN 3, and we wish former Fury defender Drew Becky the best of luck in that match tonight. Of course, former Fury captain Richie Ryan looks as though he's out at least for the balance of the regular season with I think it's a hairline fracture in the foot. So certainly a key piece missing for El Paso, but it's been an absolutely outstanding inaugural season for the expansion side.
Yeah, those hairline fractures are never, they just niggle you the whole time. You think it's getting better, you put a little bit extra weight on it, you come down hard on some of these artificial turfs. These surfaces just makes it so difficult to maintain that fitness.
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Manuel Bassi intercepts for Ottawa here. Thiago in for Kevin Oliveira. Tries to ward off his man. He'll get the foul call near the Indy bench, and Martin Rennie, former Vancouver Whitecap and North Carolina Railhawk manager, he's up to protest the call, as Carl Ouimet has a word with Serge Topalian.
Yeah, he was getting closed down a little bit. You see the hands on the back there, a little nudge. I mean, the referee obviously decided try to stamp that out over the course of the next 70 odd minutes, but I didn't see an awful lot in that. Certainly the foul took place right on the sideline. I think that's what Martin Rennie's saying. It was right on the sideline, but you're taking it 4 or 5 yards inside. Doesn't matter, free kick, Fury.
Howarth floats this one in, that one headed away. First to it is Thomas Meyer-Giguère. Delivers this one in. Obasi heads that one forward, that one headed away. Thiago looks to give chase for Ottawa, but Indy back in possession deep inside their own half. Nabil Hakshaw through the middle, that's Kenny Walker. Starikov way back in the midfield, now outlets that one to Drew Connor. Kenny Walker surveying his options, tries to go through the middle. DeFreitas gets a touch to it. Again, Walker. Now Hakshaw, he's joined the fray. That one played in for Jahate. Played back for Kenny Walker. The offside flag is up as Tyler Pasher.
About 5 yards off there, wasn't he? I don't think, I mean, he was certainly expecting the shot by Walker, but his run had taken him well beyond the back four of the Ottawa Fury, and quite possibly the easiest offside call the assistant referee is going to be making all evening.
Howarth does well to keep that one in play, but Indy back in possession, albeit momentarily. Thiago knocks that one down for Dixon. Now Adekora returns it to Jamar Dixon. Gagnon Lapare again to Dixon.
Well, we've seen Carl Howarth evolve into quite the attacking fullback, Graham, over the course of the last year or two, but I just feel sometimes when he's playing in that front position, he's isolated a little bit. He doesn't have the opportunity to get involved into the play as much as when he's building up himself from the back, or he's able to knock a 35-40 yard ball up over the top. Obviously, when you're in those wide positions, you've got to hope that the centre striker comes across, helps you out, tries to create those 2v1s in the wide positions. And I feel sometimes Berry on the left, Haworth on the right, they do tend to get a little bit isolated. And if the support's not coming in from behind you, as I said, you face these 1v2 situations and it's really tough to get the ball into the box.
Let's head down pitch side again and hear from Tyler McDonald. Tyler?
Thank you very much, and as much as a note as this can be, Indy 11 sideline very quiet so far in the first 24 minutes of this matchup. Martin Rennie analyzing his squad here so far, and really hasn't had much feedback for his 11 on the pitch so far. We'll keep you updated on what he's looking to change later on in this matchup as Indy 11 try to rebound and come back from this 1-0 deficit. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Tyler. And Jordan Farr, the backup goalkeeper on the bench for Indy 11, alongside Irishman Paddy Barrett, who is another former FC Cincinnati player, Nico Pereira, the Colombian Ilya Ilic. The Serbian has 2 goals, 2 assists on the year, played for Louisville City last season. Dane Kelly, 7 goals and 3 assists, the Jamaican international. Gabriel Rodriguez, the Brazilian, and Christian Novoa, the Venezuelan, are the available substitutes for Martin Rennie this evening. For Nikola Popovic, backup goalkeeper David Monsalvi, defenders Robert Boscovich, Maxim Tiso, Jaden Vilfort returns to the Fury squad this evening after the passing of his father a few weeks ago. Chris Manella in the midfield. Moore Sam is available as a substitute this evening, as is Antoine Couplin, the Ottawa native.
Youngster. I think an indication of how this first 25 minutes has gone for the Ottawa Fury is I don't think we've had to call Callum Irving's name. He's been absolutely back there the whole time, pretty much just getting pass backs, getting the ball launched up the park. Really hasn't had to deal with anything. However, set plays the last couple of games, corner kicks has been a bit of an issue. A few weeks ago, came out for a corner, didn't get it at all. Last week, came out for a corner, decided to check back in. And as a keeper, you're caught in no man's land. Make the decision early and continue on it. There you go.
Good work by Callum Irving, and certainly you look at the last couple of games, there was that first goal by North Carolina, coming off his line and not getting to the ball, making any contact whatsoever. That led to the equalizer.
And that was a
then
crucial
you go
goal.
back to the back to the game last weekend here on Sunday.
Yeah.
And same thing. Yes, it was 3-0 at that time, but again, another corner, diving way off his line, not making any contact, a simple tapping into the empty goal.
And the unfortunate part with that game, that game against North Carolina, was at 1-0. You were looking quite good, and then early in the second half, you can see what a ball that was. Unfortunately, just Hadjiberry couldn't continue his run in behind. It checked up a wee bit, but nice ball played, trying to go around the defender on that far side.
Speaking of 1-0,
The
Ottawa Senators opening up the 2019-2020 NHL season this evening, and the youngster Brady Tkachuk has his first goal 25 seconds into that one in Toronto, so 1-0 for the Senators.
So both Ottawa teams with a nice early lead here tonight, the Fury and the Ottawa Senators, but it's all about what's happening out there on the park here. Ottawa now, as we said, quite comfortably set up in this 4-3-3. They play it the entire season, Graham. It's been pretty much since Marta Santos day one. It's been how the Ottawa Fury has set up. A back four, a narrow 3 in midfield, and a wide 3 up front. Been successful sometimes, hasn't been successful in others. If teams are able to figure it out early, deal with it, it does make it difficult for the Fury to get anything out of these games. But great start tonight, of course led by Captain Fantastic himself, Carl Howard, on that free kick.
Captain Fantastic. That sounds like a great Halloween costume.
It would be, wouldn't it? All the kids around the city now are going to be wearing Carl Howard jerseys. Trick or treat, who are you? I'm Captain Fantastic.
There you go. Charlie Ward in possession. He is the USL leader in passes, and in fact the top 3 passers in the USL are featured in tonight's game, led by Charlie Ward. Tyler Gibson and Naveal Hackshaw both with Indy, the other 3 to round out those players. And it's been a great season for Charlie Ward, and when you look at that statistic, he's accounted for over 16% of Ottawa's successful passes, not just passes overall, successful passes.
It's quite an impressive stat, let's be honest.
That just tells you how much the ball is on and off his boot in a game, and when he's got a pass completion rate of 93%, it just shows the value of a player like that. And we've said long since that 2015 season, after Richie Ryan departed after that year, that you needed that number 6 player. You needed someone who can put the foot on the ball and kind of control the game, and I think they've certainly found that in the former San Antonio scorer.
I mean, a lot of times those passes are backwards. A lot of times those passes are sideways.
11%.
But the nice thing about Charlie Ward is he does have in his locker the ability to play a penetrating ball, whether it's through the channel, down the flank, or up and over the top of fullbacks. He does have that in his back pocket. So there's a lot more to Charlie Ward's game than just people might look at it and say, oh, but yeah, you're passing the ball back and you're passing the ball forward to a teammate, sideways to a teammate. It's all about maintaining possession in this system that Nikola Popovic is trying to instill here in the Ottawa Fury in 2019.
And positionally too, because early in the broadcast you were talking about Ottawa and the wingbacks really jumping up and helping support the offense. And how many times have we seen Charlie Ward kind of drop back as like a false center back, right? In between, well, the variety of center backs that he would be maybe trioed with over the course of this season. But he has that ability, and when you're playing in that number 6 role, you think of the caliber of player that you're marking on a nightly basis as well, and closing down that space and marking that space. So,
well, the problem with the position that Charlie Ward plays, let's just get this finishing out here as far as an attack.
Oliveira gives it to Charlie Ward. Ward has a go. That one right on target, and Evan Newton able to palm that one down and now toss it out.
When you're setting up with a flat back 4 and then you've got 3 in the middle, Charlie's obviously sitting a little bit deeper. He's got to make sure that there's no opposition player is just going to sit in that pocket behind, just in front of the back 4. So he drops nicely. He makes it difficult for anyone to find that space in that area. And invariably, when a fullback's got the ball, he's got to play it up and over the top. And that's just meat and potatoes for Callum Irving back there, playing almost like a sweeper at times at the edge of the 18-yard box. So Charlie Ward does an awful lot more, as you'd said, to the game than just passing the ball to a teammate. He can shoot as well, but his ability to read the game, as you said, where do I have to cover? Do I drop in between the 2 stoppers? Has Carl gone up on a run down the right? I'll just slide across 4 or 5 steps and provide a wee bit of cover there, and that's so important.
Here's a chance for Eugene Starikov trying to catch Callum Irving off his line.
I'll tell you
missing wide right of the goal, and
it would have been interesting if it had been on target, Graham, because
sure, he was caught off his line there, but I think that Starikov could have used a little check up because he had Pasher making a run down that left channel as well.
Definitely.
And they certainly had the numbers going forward, Indy did. Fans, you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN through the 2022 season. The USL excited to announce that the championship in League One will remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 games on ESPN Deportes. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Mayer Giguère sends that one forward. Carl Howarth has switched over to the left side. Puts on the brakes, battling with fellow Canadian Carl Ouimet. Howard tries to tuck it in for Thiago. Pulls out of the challenge there, and Obasi goes up and over his man. That was Drew Connor. And now the foul called against Ottawa, and Carl Howarth going to plead his case to Serge Topalian.
He thought there was a foul on Obasi there on the sideline, and that's why he was a little bit upset. Yeah, he's going to pick up a yellow for that. He just, as much as you're the captain, you just got to be careful what you can and can't say to an official. And obviously Carl not happy with that tackle. I don't know if we got a chance to see that Obasi tackle again, but that's obviously what he's not happy about. This one here, I got to be honest with you, there's nothing there, Graham. There's absolutely nothing there, because the boy keeps his foot on the ground, he gets the ball, and obviously Carl thought when Obasi did go to ground, it possibly looked a lot worse than maybe it was. But I didn't see anything in that tackle to warrant being upset about. I mean, I don't think Obasi made an awful lot of it either, and that's usually a good indication that maybe it was a decent enough tackle. But emotion's certainly getting a little bit going here. You've got to, we've got 11 minutes or so left in this first 45 minutes. You get into the half with your noses in front, Graham. You have a nice little chat about what worked well, what didn't work, and what you have to do in the second half to make sure you pick up these 3 points.
Well, and work still to be done in the balance of this opening 45 minutes, but certainly you hope that there's a lesson taken away from Saturday's result in North Carolina, because through 45 minutes, that was one of the best first halves they've had on the road this season. And it's not like they didn't have opportunities in the second half. It's just there was a difference in intensity level. North Carolina stepped their game up big time, and I don't think Ottawa could just find an answer. And Haji Berry just couldn't find a break either, because between the keeper and the woodwork, he was snake bitten against North Carolina.
Now, you know, you look at it, and you hear the old cliche, well, they wanted it more. I don't buy that at all. If you're going out there as a competitor, you want to win. Nobody's going out there to say, well, they want to win more than us. No. Everybody's going at it. But what happens is, as you exactly said, it's the intensity level that makes a difference. If you turn up your work rate, your commitment, your effort, your desire, you're going to outwork the opposition. If talent's equal, effort, desire, work rate will win out in the end.
And the beauty part of that game is that, both teams went for it, right?
Yeah.
They both said, look, there's a big 3 points on the line here. Let's go for it, fellas, and both sides went for it. There's an effort from distance from Kevin Oliveira. Missed a couple feet to the left of Evan Newton as he tried to catch him wandering at the top of his 6-yard box.
Yeah, but Carl Haworth was at least 15 yards wide open on that far side, Graham. As much as it was a fairly decent effort for a shot, Haworth being that wide open, that's really where that ball should have gone. Give Carl a real clear path all the way into goal.
Ball sprayed back to the touchline in front of the fourth official's bench. That one into touch for an Ottawa throw, as we'll head back down to the touchline and hear from Tyler McDonald. Tyler?
Thank you very much. And a note coming from the Indy sideline. Martin Rennie looking to have his top man, Diakite, make an overlap run back behind Ono Abasi on this right side going forward for Indy and try and get past the left back for Ottawa Fury FC. So look for that to be the key form of attack coming on this near side, Graham. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Tyler.
Well, the key right now is Jahati's been kept very, very quiet. He really hasn't been able to stretch his legs and get in behind the back four. Trying to play the ball to his feet, that's all well and good. But if he's able to stretch his legs, get in behind them, you try to see who can keep up with him. Pace-wise, who can go. Starikov is having to come very, very deep into central midfield just to try and get the service, because right now he's getting starved. Pasha really hasn't had much on that left side, Graham. And I just wonder at half-time, will Martin Rennie maybe look at changing things up a little bit, whether it's personnel or whether it's strategically, with regards to trying to get a few more bodies forward.
Well, Martin Rennie certainly has himself a bench available to him, and especially when you look at the offensive threats like Ilya Illich and Dane Kelly available. We're talking about Starikov off the start of the broadcast. 10th game he's featured in for Indy this season. Played in 19 games last year. I'd said 9 goals earlier. It was actually 6 goals he had with Indy last season. And another key player that's not in the lineup tonight for Indy, another former New York Cosmos, Inioze, who's missing tonight's action on yellow card accumulation, so serving his 1-match suspension.
And that is obviously a big loss. I mean, you don't have a player of that ability and that talent out of your lineup. But you can also look at the Ottawa Fury lineup and say, well, we're missing Fall, we're missing Francois, we're missing one or two other players. Moore Sam's on the bench, maybe not 100% fully match fit yet. So that's a free kick and possibly a yellow card as well for Kevin Oliveira. No, referee's going to start him to take it back a little bit further back. Kenny Walker not happy with that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can't like the Cosmos, given history.
No, gosh, no. Does anybody realize the Cosmos outside of New York, though? Seriously.
But listen, of all the players that have ever played there, Ioze has to be, just in terms of his overall performance, just a very remarkable player that they've had in their roster for a number of years.
A great player to watch as well. You just don't know game to game.
Great ball from Carl Haworth, and Haji Berry can't get on the end of it. Well defended by Carl Ouimet to get ball side of that delivery, bound for Haji Berry.
It was a terrific defensive play because Carl Haworth had saw Berry just behind him, just didn't get enough purchase on it to get it beyond the defender. A wonderful play by the Indy 11 player, but Carl Haworth, such skill there to bring that ball down in the air, get it under control, and then get the head up, see where the options are. Thought, well, let's just get it long to Haji, see what he can do, and unfortunately Womet did very well cutting it off.
Again, good clearance there by Thomas Mayer-Giguère, heading that one down in the path of Obasi. Outlets to Haji Berry. Through the middle now, in space is Jeremy Gagnon-Laparé. Laparé puts on the brakes, looks for support. Slows it down now to Carl Haworth. Back to Gagnon-Laparé. As Ottawa try to reset inside the Indy half. 40th minute here at TD Place on a chilly Wednesday evening. And it's 1-0 Ottawa Fury FC leading on that 16th minute free kick strike from the captain Carl Haworth, his 9th of the season. Nabil Hakshaw intercepts that one, plays it back to Evan Newton, who quickly had to spray it back out to his left with Haji Berry pressuring.
That was nice defensive play by the Indy 11 from the goalkeeper out wide into the middle.
Well, they move the ball well
they really
across their back line, and that one intercepted there from Jahate as he tried to move it forward. Obasi intercepts. Kevin Oliveira whips that one over to an open Carl Haworth, chests it down. Haworth tries to cut inside on Nabil Hakshaw, and that one poked back and into the path of Evan Newton, and now outlets to Kenny Walker. Tries to spring it quickly. Walker's ball. That one too far ahead.
Yeah, you know what?
Of the streaking Tyler Pasher, who switched over to his right.
We're seeing an awful lot of these balls trying to get played down the channel, and I've got to be honest with you, Thomas Mayer-Giguère and Nana Takora are reading them extremely well, and they're getting there even ahead of the ball arriving there, Graham. They seem to know exactly what the game plan is. Get those balls up and over the top if you can, but both Atakora, Mayer-Giguère, not only cutting the balls out, but winning balls in the air as well, and that's making it so difficult. The Indy 11 has to try and make sure they win the second ball. If you've got Charlie Ward sitting in there waiting to pick it up, that becomes very, very tough.
Trying to find Tyler Pasher, and that one just out of his reach. And be interesting to see how, you know, some of the match prep went on at training this week with Nikola Popovic, of course, very familiar with Tyler Pasher from his days with Sporting Kansas City / Swope Park Rangers. Yep. As he was part of that side when Popovic was there as an assistant to Mark DeSantos. Hence why Pasher ended up with San Francisco Deltas in the...
Yep.
Headed down by Obasi. And wins the foul there against Carl Ouimet once again.
Yeah, a little bit pushing the back there as Obasi was breaking forward. I don't think it was Ouimet that actually had committed the free kick. I think it was number 6 there, Drew Connor, that had just nudged him in the back. As he was going forward, he overran the ball, but the referee calls the play back. 43rd minute, I'm sure the Ottawa Fury would be more than happy just to see this game, this first 45 minutes come to an end, Graham. It's been a positive 45 minutes, a good bounce back after last week's loss. Indy 11, unfortunately, in the attacking third, haven't created an awful lot.
Haworth delivery. Knocked down, Obasi up for the header. Played back for Charlie Ward, and he hits that one on the volley. Well up and over the goal. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy.
Well, that's good defensive work there by the Ottawa Fury. Obviously just trying to play a little bit of a high press here inside these last 5 or 6 minutes. Just make it a little bit difficult for Indy 11 to try and get out of their own defensive third. But nice little diagonal cross there from the goalkeeper. Gets it up into central midfield, and another opportunity for Indy 11 to look to play those balls wide or down the channels.
Kenny Walker to Gibson. Finds its way back to Watson. Headed down and in to touch by Jamar Dixon. Hearing that we will have A minimum of 1 minute of stoppage time here in this opening half. This one delivered in dangerously to the penalty area, headed away nicely
Handball
by Thomas Mayer-Giguère right to Oliveira, but as you say, Gord, handball called. And now a free kick here for Indy 11. It's certainly from quite the distance here, and you can bet that Kenny Walker is going to be the man behind this one.
Well, it just came off the elbow there of Oliveira as he tried to turn quickly, get the counter-attack going the other way. It was a very soft touch there, but the referee did spot it. And we're looking at about what here, 25, 27, maybe 30 yards, Graham? Possibly 30 yards from goal here. Definitely worth a shot on target, that's for sure.
Well, we've seen Kenny Walker work his magic here at TD Place before as a member of FC Cincinnati, and he can put his boot through a ball, and can he pull Indy 11 level here on the cusp of halftime? Walker's delivery just wide right of the goal of Callum Irving, but he got that one up and over and around the wall.
Yeah, I think that's one of those that, okay, he's had his first one. He's getting his sights set possibly for another one that might come in the second half. You always want to get that first one out of the way. We know Carl doesn't need a first one because he always seems to just put it on target. And that's the main thing when you're taking free kicks from that sort of distance. I think goalkeeper Irving would have had it covered fairly well anyway, but a little bit of a danger. You know, you give up free kicks in those areas of the park, Graham, you just never know. Someone can turn a wee bit of magic.
Ooh, dangerous ball, and Evan Newton had to be sharp there with that clearance. Stepping up was Jamar Dixon. Gagnon Lapore with the flick on to Oliveira. He's brought down, no foul called. Blocked by Thiago, ends up back into the penalty area. And now Aji Berry gives chase. There's Oliveira, that one tripped. That was inside the box, no call given. And everyone protesting for Ottawa. Now a yellow card given to Kevin Oliveira.
But is Oliveira getting the yellow card for the dive, or is he getting the yellow card for protesting? Because it didn't look initially as if the referee was going to give him the yellow card for diving. I'd really love to see that one. As it gets in the box, he was always going to get there first. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't look as if a lot of contact there, Graham. The referee decides it was nothing there. Carl again having a chat with the referee. Just got to be careful. The referee pushing him away, and the slightest of touches possibly, Graham, but certainly not enough for the referee to give penalty kick for the Ottawa Fury, and it's 1-0 after 45 minutes.
Well, if you wanted rivalry soccer, you've got it here tonight between Ottawa Fury FC and Indy 11. We'll head down pitch side to hear momentarily from Fury head coach Nikola Popovic alongside our Tyler McDonald. Let's head down pitch side and hear from them now.
And then consistent performance in the first half. We had some chances. I think we could be much more higher on the scoreboard. However, we have to keep up. We have to maintain consistency, maintain this compactness in the midfield, and don't allow them space, because we know they're a very dangerous team. They have a lot of speed in front. They're constantly making these runs, so we have to be careful with this. And I think with the ball, we have to create more chances.
A lot of emotion going into this first half break here, Coach. Just talk about how important it is to bring your emotions to the side and play a full 90 to come out with this victory for you guys.
No, we have to put everything apart, and we have to focus and fight for every single play that we have in front of us. It's going to be inch by inch.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tyler, and yeah, certainly a spirited first half and a spirited finish to that first 45 minutes. 45 minutes in the books here at TD Place, and that means two things. Number one, our halftime show is coming up, and also to my two young boys at home, Reggie and Fitzgerald, it's bedtime, so go to bed. 1-0 Ottawa Fury FC leading here at halftime. Our halftime coming up next. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
This program brought to you by Gabriel Pizza. Gabriel Pizza, home of the bigger, better pizza. Now available online at GabrielPizza.com.
These photos I had to dig for because I would hide from photos. I didn't want to be acknowledged. What I would say to my former self is just get started, just begin. Go into Good Life, meet with the trainer, go to a class, just start.
Come on, come on.
Come on, go make some friends.
It's so tough to give them a run in the city, but they really love it here. Be gentle, be gentle.
We're making friends. See the one that, well, it's just going in circles?
Yeah.
That's mine.
Come on, time to go. Come here.
The all-new Crosstrek.
Come here. Now.
It's up for it.
Oh, no. Oh, there he goes.
I just shampooed him this morning.
There are 8 million kids in Canada. By the time I finish this sentence, 6 of us will be cyberbullied. By the end of the month, 1 million. Bullied. We're not okay with that.
Welcome back inside TD Place. 45 minutes in the books. Ottawa Fury FC leading by a 1-0 score on the shoulders of Carl Howarth. 9th goal of the season as the Fury captain has his side in the driver's seat through 45 minutes. Coming up in our halftime, we'll have a look at the out-of-town scores, standings, highlights, and more. But first, here are some highlights from USL Championship Week 31.
Let's go with the left foot, Jamal Johnson! What a goal! Perfectly placed! Hamilton, back out wide. Chance to put this in the penalty area, chance, a goal! Devin Sandoval brings them to their feet in Albuquerque. A minute to play, Dia puts it in, desperately headed away, shot comes in, it's 2-2! Oh, can you believe it? From 2-0 down, Phoenix are level. Making the run, Mo Hernandez, edge of the box. Hernandez, great move, gets free. Hernandez! Gives SAFC the lead!
I told you the big man was feeling it tonight.
Low into the middle.
Oh,
shot!
Goes right, gets the shot away, score! Nowhere to go for Lorenzi.
Set up a shot, and it finds the corner. We're level at 2, and all of a sudden, game on here in Tucson. Puts this in the middle, looking for Ramos Mingo. It's off the hands of Hara and in. The opening goal for Toronto FC 2.
Moape lofts it. Boateng on the run. Boateng back of the net. Charo Boateng is first in league play.
Send it in. Headed away, couldn't get by the first man. Bermudez might come away with it, and he does! And there's nobody in goal! Greenville are going to score, and they're going to the playoffs! Greenville and Chris Bermudez!
This program brought to you by Gabriel Pizza. Gabriel Pizza, home of the bigger, better pizza. Now available online at GabrielPizza.com.
I waited till I was 49, 4 months short of my 50th birthday to start. Wish I'd started a lot earlier. Just start. The first step's the hardest. It's never a direct route to get there. What better investment can you make? Because without health, we've got nothing.
All right, everyone got everything?
Let's go.
I have to go pee.
All right, okay.
All right,
Okay.
here we go.
Wait, Dad, hold on. Something.
Okay.
All right.
I need my pillow.
Christopher!
No. You can't take that.
The brand new 3-row Subaru Ascent. The perfect family SUV for your mostly perfect family.
There are 8 million kids in Canada. By the time I finish this sentence, 6 of us will be cyberbullied. By the end of the month, 1 million. Bullied. We're not okay with that.
Welcome back inside TD Place as halftime continues. Start things off here with a look at our first half highlights brought to you by Budweiser, and for 45 minutes scored everything that Nikola Popovic would want to see from his side, especially with the start from his captain and that impressive free kick goal from Carl Howard.
I thought they've been very solid at the back. I mean, that's key to playing against a team like the Indy 11. We will get a chance to see this free kick coming up, and a glorious free kick it was. And I think Carl expected the goalkeeper to come in behind the wall, and here we see early doors. Oliveira going in with a very early chance. Gagnon Lapare with a shot from just outside the 18-yard box. Goalkeeper Newton down to it quite safely. I don't think it would have been sneaking in beside them if it had gotten to the post, but just a couple of other chances here. Oliveira getting into the box again, just kind of getting caught up on his feet. As he goes into the goalkeeper, Newton gets it cleared away, and this is where the free kick comes in right there, a little clip on the back of the ankles. Referee right away, and of course, as we said, we saw the goalkeeper just hedging his bets, going to his right, thinking Carl was going up and over the wall. Forward just out thought, he just put it wide onto the right hand side, and a terrific goal once again. Carl's 9th on the season.
Yeah, Carl Howard certainly freezing Evan Newton there, and you could just see the look on his face, and there was nothing he could do because he was already pushing off his left to his right. There was no way back to kind of come back the other way. And once again, Carl Howard proving just how vicious he can be on those free kicks. That's 5 of his 9 goals, I believe, coming from the set piece so far this season. It's been pretty impressive. But let's talk about that first half, because there's a couple things that I think we need to touch on from Ottawa. We've seen the chances in the highlights. Good on them. In the midfield, how they've been able to just eliminate time and space. Gibson hasn't been able to get too much going. Kenny Walker's had a couple of long balls forward, but he hasn't been able to get much going. And then you look at the play of that center back tandem. Thomas Mayer-Giguère, some good challenges, some fantastic clearances, and then you look at Nana Adekora and just that hard effort you get from him. Still don't think that was a yellow card on that challenge. It was a hard challenge. No, you want to call it a foul? It wasn't a yellow card.
No, for sure.
Wasn't a yellow card. But that's what they need back there. You need someone who's going to be fierce and go in 100% on those challenges, and it's worked well for Ottawa through 45 minutes.
I think the fact that the highlight package we saw was all Ottawa Fury, I mean, that's indicative of how that first 45 minutes went. Could Ottawa have had a second goal? I think with a little bit sharper finishing in front of goal, a little bit more polish in the 18-yard box, it could have been 2-0, and then it would have been a little bit more trickier for Indy 11 coming out at half-time. As it is, they're still in this. We talk about this every single time. That first 5-10 minutes of the second half, it's a little bit of a lull in performance. Mentally, you're not really prepared as you were throughout the first 45 minutes. You can see the goal, and unfortunately then you end up what was 3 points fairly ends up being trying to hang on to at least one as this game finishes off.
And we'll now have a look at our match stats from that opening 45 minutes, brought to you by Rico. And well, they certainly tell a story there. 8 shots to 4 in favor of Ottawa. 4 of those 8 on target for the Fury, none for Indy 11, and they might hold the advantage in the possession game, but it's possession with a purpose. And when Ottawa's had the ball tonight, they've gone forward with attack. They've created chances. They've taken efforts from outside the 18-yard box. They've been able to get penetration inside the 18-yard box. You think of that chance, that very first highlight that we saw from Kevin Oliveira, who's, you know what, these last few games running now from Kevin Oliveira in a much different groove.
And the possession that obviously we're seeing there at 60%, it's in the back line. It's deep inside the midfield third, because at that point, they're then trying to spring balls down the channel and up and over the top. And right now, it's just not working. As we said, Atakora, Meyer doing a terrific job, winning that first header. And the second ball's getting picked up by Charlie Ward, Thiago, or Jeremy Gagnon-Lapare. And it's making it that much easier transition going the other way.
Perhaps the biggest thing of importance for Ottawa going into the second half, and you heard Tyler McDonald with Nikola Popovic following that first half, it's about keeping their heads out of what was going on to end the half and just in the game, because that is what could tip the scales of this one in favor of the opposition if Ottawa loses focus on what was a very solid opening 45 minutes.
Yeah, if you can keep your head when all around you is going crazy, then that's obviously going to stand you well going forward in this match here. But there definitely was, in that last 5 minutes or so, a little bit of niggles coming into the match. And I'm sure at half-time both coaches would just have told their charges to keep it cool, keep it calm. Let's see how the first 15 minutes play out. A lot of the onus now falls on the referee, because the referee obviously has to try and keep a lid on things. You don't want it getting out of control. You've already got 3 yellow cards to the Ottawa Fury. You certainly don't want to be going down to 9 men, 10 men.
There was a lot of yellow cards in that game on Saturday in North Carolina as well. And of course, we didn't really talk about that in the first half, and that both these teams coming off of games on Saturday, Ottawa falling 3-1 in North Carolina, Indy falling 3-0 at Highmark Stadium against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. No substitutes made from either side at halftime, so same 11 that we'll see for Indy 11. Evan Newton in goal, Nabil Hackshaw, Matt Watson, Carl Ouimet, and Mitch Osman across the back line. Tyler Pasher, Tyler Gibson, Kenny Walker, and Drew Connor across the midfield. Aliyun Jahate and Eugene Starikov up top for Indy 11. For Ottawa Fury FC, Callum Irving in goal, Ono Obasi, Thomas Mayer-Giguère, Nana Atakora, and Ottawa native Jamar Dixon across the back four. Thiago De Freitas, Charlie Ward, Jeremy Gagnon-Lapare across the middle, Haji Berry, Kevin Oliveira, and the captain and tonight's goal scorer, Carl Howarth, the front three for Fury FC.
We talked about how important it was to get through that first 15 minutes for Indy 11 in that first half. They were able to get to the 16th minute until they conceded the goal. I think it's imperative the Ottawa Fury get through these first 15 minutes, Graham, of the second half with still at 1-0. Possibly if you're even able to snatch a second goal, that'd be ideal.
Great work by Nana Atakora in a foot race with Tyler Pasher. Atakora goes to ground, able to keep the ball between his leg. A great recovery. Good sportsmanship there by Pasher, who helped him up after they were all taking some knocks with that ball between his legs. So
well, you know what they say about Canadians, Graham. You know, they're very helpful. Two Canadians going at it there. But it was a rather unconventional tackle for Nana. The ball had gotten up and over behind him. One of the few times that goalkeeper Irving hadn't come out ready to control it. It was a little bit too far at the edge of the box, but great work by Nana. And I'm sure he's thrilled to get back into a starting lineup for the Ottawa Fury. I mean, I think certainly last year I thought some of his play was terrific. Him and Thomas together were outstanding as far as chemistry in front of Crépeau, and it's just unfortunate. We highlighted a few weeks ago with regards to the number of pairings that we have had in the centre defence for the Ottawa Fury here in 2019. There just has not been any consistency with regards to a set pairing, whether that's through injury, suspension, whatever.
Kenny Walker gives way to Tyler Pasher. Tyler Pasher on the goal line, sends it to the back post, and a great defensive play there by Thiago de Freitas, who was back inside his own 6-yard box to head perhaps a goal-bound header away from, that was Drew Connor, who had found space inside the 6-yard box along de Freitas.
That was a terrific play down the left-hand side, and Pasha with a wonderful little chip to the back post, took out the goalkeeper, took out 2 Fury defenders at the front post, and wonderful tracking back. We talked about how important that was in the first 45 minutes. It started off well for the Fury here in the second.
Work still to be done for Ottawa. Pasher's delivery, that one headed away. And now Haji Berry does the rest of the work, sending it back out to the midfield. Drew Connor finds Kenny Walker, tries to paint that one down the line, gets it beyond Jeremy Gagnon-Laparade, but that one bounces into touch for an Ottawa throw deep inside their own half.
Well, we see substitutions for the Indy 11 warming up behind the goal for the Ottawa Fury, but right now there are no Fury players at all, Graham, getting warmed up behind the Indy 11 goalkeeper. So obviously Coach Popovich happy with the first half performance. Yes, as we said, a little bit of sharpness in front of goal could have made all the difference, but more than happy just to run with it. Yes, it's got to be a free kick for sure, and possibly even the first jello of the evening for Indy 11.
Five, I think, fouls that Oliveira has drawn now in this game.
Yeah.
Could be higher than that.
And you think as well,
you think of the one that he did drew that led to that.
And not only
goal.
that, but you think about back to the game against the last home game we had here, where I think it was 2 penalties he won for the Ottawa Fury that Haji Berry was able to bury. So
well done, Gord. Well done.
So I mean that just shows exactly what Kevin Oliveira brings to the game, though, doesn't it? Trickiness, a little bit of shiftiness, quick feet, and it makes it difficult for defenders to try and stay with him.
And that was Hartford, the last home game here. That was the Haji Berry hat-trick game and that 4-1 victory. That one came on the heels of that impressive 1-0 victory midweek over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So, and that one was a spirited affair as well. And obviously, you know, Ottawa, Indy, Tampa, lots of history between those 3 sides, dating back to their NASL days. So enjoy that. There's a delivery, again headed away by Thomas Mayer-Giguère. Oliveira tries to bring that one down, contends with Kenny Walker. Howarth skies this one forward. Haji Berry trying to get a read on it here. Watson heads that one away on the deal. Hackshaw knocks Kevin Oliveira to ground. That one draws another foul.
Yeah, Haji Berry had peeled away, hoping that Oliveira might be able to get a ball played down the channel for him to chase after, but free kick was called. Hackshaw, the free kick against him, and now Carl Howard. Just see Nana Takora, Thomas Mayer-Giguère making their way into the 18-yard box, and I'm sure Carl will try and put in once again one of his top-notch deliveries off a set play. I don't think he's going to have a shot from that distance, to be honest with you.
That one well in behind anyone in black and red. Charlie Ward maintains possession to Jeremy Gagnon-Laparade. Now Carl Howard. Howard slicing his way through the middle. Howard still going. He'll try an effort. And he goes down and then ends up with a man on top of him.
Yeah, when he broke forward at first was a slight bit of a tug, pull back. Carl just kept his head down, kept going towards goal, and nothing was called. Finally got the shot away, and unfortunately for Carl, it just went wide of that left-hand post. But fairly decent start for the Ottawa Fury here in the second half as they try to maintain that performance level that we saw in the first 45 minutes, just not allowing Indy 11 any real chances in the attacking third.
Oh, Bassi, good work there, contending with Tyler Pasher now back on that right side.
Yeah, and that's something we see an awful lot during the course of a game. We see Oliveira a few times trying it. Francois would every once in a while would leave from his right position to go over to the left. If you're not getting an awful lot of success against the fullback or the player that you're up against on one side, Graham, try the other side. You might just be able to beat him a little bit more for pace. You might prefer to turn to one side. You're able to get on your more favoured side if you like to go around the outside. So every once in a while you will see players change up, certainly in the forward line, trying to get an opportunity to get a better opportunity, a better matchup for you.
Starikov gets called for the foul there, and that was a high boot on Jamar Dixon, contrary to the Ukrainians' belief on that one. And Jamar Dixon has a few words as Starikov passes by him. Serge Topalian with a warning given to Starikov. 54th minute, Fury FC remain in front 1-0. 2 games also on the schedule tonight in the USL, kicking off at 9 o'clock Eastern, so in about 45 minutes time. El Paso Locomotive home to Fresno FC, and at 10:30 Eastern, Sacramento Republic are home to LA Galaxy 2. And the other out-of-town score that we care about, if I can pull it up here, the Ottawa Senators in action. Second period is underway in Toronto, and the Leafs have just equalized through Francois Gauthier. Brady Tkachuk opened the scoring for Ottawa in the first, so that one 1-1 early on in the second period there. Thomas Meyer-Giguère back to try and shepherd that one out, but forced to send that one out for a corner.
He was expecting Irving was coming for that, yeah. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper decided to stay inside his 6-yard box, and that put Thomas under a little bit more pressure than I think he would have wanted.
All things considered, I think that's still where you want Callum Irving to be. In this game, what's going on, there was still no harm there. Stay inside your 6-yard box. I don't know that you were going to get there, and Pasher has pace. There's a header from Starikov, and that one up and over the bar on that delivery from Pasher.
Well, Graham, we talked about the teams that are in the battle down in the top 10. You've got the Ottawa Fury, St. Louis FC, Birmingham Legion, and Charleston Battery. I put together a little bit of a chart here this afternoon when I had some time. Right now...
Did your boss know you were doing this at work?
No, don't say anything. Right now, when you look at it, the easiest schedule of the 4 teams is the Charleston Battery. They play Birmingham Legion, who are sitting in 10th. Then they play Loudoun, who's 16, Memphis, who's 12th, and Bethlehem Steel, who's 14. The big game for them is Birmingham against Charleston this coming weekend. Up on the weekend. Exactly.
Saturday is the season for both of those teams. If one side claims all 3 points, they put themselves in the driver's seat. And yes, Birmingham has probably a more difficult schedule to finish versus Charleston. But they, whoever comes out with all 3 points on the day is likely to find themselves heading to the postseason.
The easiest schedule, the hardest schedule is St. Louis. They play Louisville 6, Loudoun 16, and then 1 Pittsburgh and 7 North Carolina. And you've got Birmingham playing, obviously, Charleston, Hartford, but then they've got New York and Pittsburgh to finish off. So the nice thing for the Fury is they've got teams that are pretty much teams that are almost already after tonight eliminated from playoff contention. And they've got the easier path to picking up the required points to make sure. I'm sure they're looking at 7 and 8 as opposed to 9 and 10, Graham.
Well, certainly 7 could be in reach if they can claim maximum points here tonight in North Carolina. They don't have an easy schedule to finish, nor does Louisville City, who's just above them on 51 points. So all still there for the taking when, including tonight's result for Ottawa, there's still 12 points up for grabs. Ottawa needs to get to 51 points to claim a playoff spot, at least as it stands right now, with both Charleston and Birmingham with 4 games remaining and both on 39 points.
And if Birmingham and Charleston actually tie each other, the maximum number of points that both teams can get is 49. So the Fury only need to get to 49 or 50 to pretty much guarantee themselves a playoff spot. But again, it's all about seedings. It's all about getting yourself positioned. And when you look at the way that the playoffs are set up in the USL Championship, 5 and 6 really get ripped off when you look at the bigger picture. If you finish in 5th or 6th, you're not going to get a home playoff game. 7 and 8 you will. 5 and 6 don't. So,
but you have that.
But you have that
game.
midweek off. I understand that, but the flip side of it is, if you're looking at it to try and gain momentum, you're playing on a Saturday, you're playing on a Wednesday, you're playing again on a Saturday. It's not as if you're playing 3 games in the space of 4 or 5 days.
But with this format, then you would certainly covet being one of those top 2 teams, because the team that you're going to play in is going to already have played a midweek game.
Yep.
And as it stands right now, there's been so much turnover in the top 4 over the last 6-7 weeks. New York Red Bulls 2 was on top there for what seemed like the longest time. And after the win last night, you got Pittsburgh in first on 61 points, 3 points up on Nashville. Tampa Bay Rowdies are on 57, as are New York Red Bulls 2. All 4 of those teams have played 31 games.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the 4 have 17 wins. The Rowdies have just 16. So much to be played for at the top. So you have no idea, really, until that last game of the season.
This isn't good. This isn't good at all.
And that's between Matt Watson.
Yeah, the captain went to ground there, and it was Gagnon Laparé as well, the 2 of them wrestling to the ground, and I'm not quite sure what exactly happened there. Gagnon Laparé just right there took him down a wee bit, and then the elbow to the head, that wasn't the best. And we're just trying to see who's... Yeah, so Watson has picked up a red card. And I'm pretty sure that was for the elbow, more than likely onto the head.
All right, let's get a bit more information on what's transpiring down on the touchline as we'll head down and hear from Tyler McDonald. Tyler.
Thanks, guys. And this has been building throughout this second half. These last 50 minutes have been very testy down here on the sideline. It was a matter of fact that with this chippiness happening, this happened right in front of me. Jeremy Gagnon-Laparé gets a little tied up here with Watson. The number 8's colliding. And, both at fault, I bet, going on the ground here, I think. But it was the little hit afterwards that hit to the head of Gagnon-Laparé right in front of me that really caused the scenario here, and things have really tied off here. We have Charlie Ward out on the pitch, making sure everyone keeps their heads. A yellow card to, I believe that's what I meant for a yellow, for dissent to the referee, and just a lot of unfortunate events going down here right now, guys. I mean, we have everyone going crazy. Watson doesn't want to leave the pitch. He's finally taking his chance now, and will be sent to the locker room, and it'll be 10 men for Indy 11 as they try to come back in this game. Keep an update for you guys on the atmosphere down here, because it has been wild so far on pitch side.
Well, thanks very much, Tyler. And yeah, that's certainly boiling over from what we saw transpiring in the last couple of minutes of that first half, albeit like it was still an intense opening 45, but it's most certainly spilled over here into the second half. And looks like they were applying something to the head of Jeremy Gagnon-Laparé, so I don't know if he's been cut as a result of that.
Well, I did say, Graham, early in the second half that it was imperative.
And he's going to get a yellow card
imperative
as well.
That the referee keep a lid on this. I honestly don't think it got out of control from anything the referee has done. I think it was just a case of temperature was just getting ratcheted right up, and unfortunately we've had this ugly incident right in front of the 4th official, who couldn't have seen it any better. It definitely does appear that it was the elbow being applied to the head of Jeremy Gagnon-Laparé that was caught by the officials. And quite rightly, in my mind, it was a straight red card, and unfortunately off he goes. But, well, I mean, if you're the Ottawa Fury now, you say to yourself, we've seen situations before, Graham, with the Ottawa Fury come up against a team that gets a man sent off, and they struggle. They struggle to close out games. Are they going to be able to do it here tonight, finish this out, and pick up these 3 very, very important points for them?
We'll see how both sides respond after that skirmish there in midfield. That has now reduced the visitors' Indy 11 down to 10 men, with Watson getting the straight red. Jeremy Gagnon-Laparé, for his part in it, picks up a yellow card. And we talked about this season. We've talked about it a lot. We've probably talked about this every season in their history. Ottawa, for whatever reason, do not seem to be as effective when they're up a man as they are when it's even, or heck, when even they're down a man. But Kevin Oliveira now in possession. Loses it to Nabil Hackshaw. Tyler Pasher sends that one forward to Starikov. That one catches the boot of Charlie Ward, and Ottawa back in possession. Gagnon Lapare to Carl Haworth. Cuts inside on Hackshaw. Slots that one forward to Haji Berry. Great defensive challenge there. And that one cleared away. Well played by Mitchell Osmond to come across.
I think part of the problem is you get the slackness into your play, Graham. You know you've got extra time, you know you've got extra space. You just don't have the same intensity you've been playing the first 63, 62 minutes with. You've got to get rid of that part of your game. You really have to make sure you keep it up through the entire 90 minutes. Forget the opposition is down to 10 men. Play the way you've been playing the entire first half and first half of the second period.
Jahate gets called for offside as he broke just a bit too early before the ball was played on by Starikov. I'd rather make that Kenny Walker.
And we do see the Ottawa Fury subs up here now, Graham, as well, getting warmed up behind the goal.
And the available subs for Nikola Popovic, backup keeper David Monsalve, defenders Robert Boscovich, Maxim Tissot, and Ottawa native Jaden Vilfort, midfielder Chris Manella, and forwards Moore Sam and Antoine Coupland. For the visitors, backup goalkeeper Jordan Farr, defenders Paddy Barrett and Nico Perea, midfielder Ilya Illich, and forwards Dane Kelly, Gabriel Rodriguez, and Christian Navoa. Howard into the middle now. Oliveira, nice dish to Gagnon Lapare. Now Thiago cuts to the middle. Onto the right, that one takes the deflection and an easy stop there by Evan Newton.
Yeah, the deflection just took the sting out of that shot. It was a fairly decent hit.
There's a long ball forward. Starikov trying to get on the end of it. That one bounces a bit ahead of him, and he almost collides with Callum Irving as the two casually embrace one another. Adakora. Dixon. Has to go back to Adakora.
We're 65 minutes in, and irrespective of how this game ends, once again I've been totally impressed with the defensive setup between Atakora and Majerziger. Now, when Boscovich has been in there as well, Graham, I think he's played extremely well alongside Thomas Majerziger. But Nana just brings that more physical presence, that aspect of, you know, you don't want to try and get in a 50-50 ball with me. Really impressed with how they've worked together. They're well organised. They know exactly where each person is on the park.
Falls to Starikov, tries for the acrobatic, and it doesn't come off, and that allows Ottawa to clear. First to it there is Haji Berry.
Yeah, he needed to try and bring that down on the first bounce, and when he waited and just hesitated a little bit, he did have a 2v1 if he was going to be able to bring it down. And at some point we're hearing Moore Sam is now going to be coming into the play, and that for me makes sense. You're at 65 minutes, put a player like Moore Sam on, change things up a little bit. He brings a different dynamic than the other three strikers that are out there. His movement is terrific. He's willing to come deep, but he's also willing to make the runs down the flank and in the channel. So great to see Moore Sam back in a Fury jersey. I thought for periods during that first 6 or 7 weeks, Graham, that he was involved with the Fury, he was unplayable. He just could not mark him. And the three forwards that played, or the two forwards that played alongside him, there was such an understanding of the three of them.
Kevin Oliveira, marked closely by Mitchell Osmond. Nabil Hackshaw in there as well. Oliveira does well to win Ottawa corner as he banks that one off the leg of Osmond.
That might be the last action of his. I think I've been told that Oliveira is the one coming off.
They'll wait until the
corner, yes,
next play to make this substitute. Carl Haworth will take the delivery here on the corner. 67th minute, Ottawa continue to hang on to that 1-0 lead. I shouldn't say hang on, they've been on the front foot for the better part of this match. 1, 2, 3, 5 black and red striped shirts inside the penalty area for Ottawa, or inside the 6-yard box, I should say. That one doesn't get past the front post. Back out to the midfield. Charlie Ward plays it back all the way to Callum Irving. Irving well out of his goal. Sends a stinger forward to Carl Haworth. Gets on the end of it. Haworth delivers it into the penalty area. Barry able to get a touch momentarily. Well defended by Indy. Now they'll look to break back the other way, and Kevin Oliveira called for the foul there.
And you know what? I mean, get him off, because he's already on a yellow. and you just gave the referee the possibility of, you know, were you impeding enough forward progress that you were stopping the counter-attack? But as it is, it's Moore Sam now coming in back at home once again for the Ottawa Fury, and Moore Sam coming in to replace Kevin Oliveira, who's had a good game. I wouldn't say he stood out in an awful lot of cases, but he won the free kick a couple of times, especially that early opportunity he had inside the box, Graham. It really could have opened things up for the Ottawa Fury within the first 2 or 3 minutes. But Oliveira now off, and Moore Sam coming in for almost like what seems like his second debut here at TD Place. He's been out for that long with that injury, and you know, I've got to be honest, it's no surprise that the slump with regards to the way they had been playing and the results they were getting through May and June came to a little bit of a halt when Moore Sam went out with an injury. I'm sure Hadji Berry was brought in at the same time. Hadji Berry was going to get brought in to work with Moore Sam as one of the strikers up front, but unfortunately he ended up being more or less a replacement, and it's only in the last game or two that the two of them do have an opportunity now.
Oh, great battle.
Together. That really was terrific by Carl Haworth, wasn't it?
Well, two very similar players, just very pacey, determined, hungry players. Good to see those two Canadians going toe-to-toe here this evening in Carl Haworth and Tyler Pasher. Pasher whips that one over to the opposite side. Is Indy trying to get some flow going to their game?
Again, Thomas Merziger just reading. Obasi had pushed up to try and close down the winger on the far side, but Thomas, terrific read getting across, cutting it out.
Well, that one bounces off out of Cora, and Starikov has equalized the game.
I tell you what, I don't think that was offside. I think he was getting played on by Jamar Dixon, Graham. I don't know if we're going to get a really good chance to see this, but I honestly thought Jamar Dixon was playing him onside. It would have been very, very tight. No, excellent call by the official. Jamar was a little bit late in getting out, but Starikov just a half step. Wonderful spot by the official on the far side.
Oh,
just looked very, very close. That Jamar hadn't come out with the rest of the back line, and he played him onside.
And it almost looked like an unfortunate bounce off of Nana Adakora and fell right to the feet of Eugene Starikov, who's still looking for his first goal this season with Indy 11. And now another sub pending for Ottawa Fury FC here as Chris Manella getting kitted out, looking to come into this game. I expect we'll see him replacing one of Thiago or Gagnon Lapare.
Yeah, I don't think Gagnon Lapare has felt any ill effects of that blow to the head that he suffered. I just wonder if maybe Thiago, 70, 71 minutes, I think his key contribution tonight, other than being, that's a terrible mistake.
Moore Sam! Oh, cleared off the line!
Dear,
Evan Newton caught out of his goal, and Moore Sam almost gave Ottawa a 2-goal lead, and now Haworth's effort deflects off Pasher and out for a corner.
Well, what was the defender doing there? I mean, Newton, I don't know, you're right, he was in a bit of no man's land, but my goodness, what was the defender playing at? It is going to be Gagnon Lapare we're hearing coming out. So I just wonder if maybe they're just erring on the side of caution, Graham, with regards to that head injury that he did take.
Haworth brings it in low for Moore Sam. And that one goes off the outside of his left boot and out for a goal kick, and we'll see that second Ottawa substitute now. As number 6, Chris Manella will check into this game.
Yeah, Gagnon Lapare is having none of it. he's just having a look. Oh, yeah, it's a lovely evening here.
Hey.
Yeah, you want me to come off? Nah, I thought Jeremy's had another solid game in central midfield. You know what you get with Jeremy every single time. You get that effort, you get that work rate, the commitment, the desire we talk about. Yeah, we know he's not the most skillful lad on the park, but my goodness, he'll run through a brick wall for you. And that's what he's done this entire season.
I need you to do me a favor.
I'll try.
What did I say going into halftime? Just before our break.
About AJ?
No. But it was about another boy. That's my boys. I told them to get to bed.
They're not in bed, are
they?
No,
they didn't listen. So could you tell Reggie to go to bed?
Reggie, Fitz, you got to get to bed, son. Daddy will be home soon. You've got to get to bed. Maybe they're up watching the Senators, Graham. Hopefully they're watching this game, but if not and they're watching the Senators,
well, if they're watching that one, it's midway through the second, and it's now 3-2 in favor of the Maple Leafs. But Sabourin scored in Toronto, so they know who he is now.
They know who he is now, yeah. Hopefully Matthews was on the ice at the time as well. Good for him.
More Sam. Tried a bit of trickery there to get beyond Osman. He'll have none of that. Collects it to Nabil Hackshaw. That effort for Starikov over his head, brought down by Atakora to Jamar Dixon.
And we were talking about earlier on about Thiago, when we thought possibly Thiago would the one be going off. It was that stop at the back post where he tracked back Graham and got the header away after Pasher chipped a lovely ball to the back post. Big contribution tonight by Thiago. Watch the bounce there.
Great play by Charlie Ward. Work still to be done by Meyer Giguère, and good idea to bring it back into the midfield instead of playing it back to Irving with two Indy 11 players there. Howarth plays this one forward for Haji Berry. Makes the run forward. Newton had to be quick off his line. And that one will go into touch at midfield. 74th minute here at TD Place. And it's the captain's goal in the 16th minute that still stands with Ottawa up 1-0.
And speaking of the captain, it was a terrific win by Chris Manella in central midfield. But the quick vision of Carl Howard to play that penetrating ball in behind for Haji Berry to chase after. Good goalkeeping though by Newton.
Great tackle by Jamar Dixon, playing in his 91st game as a member of Ottawa Fury FC. But here comes Pasher. Oh, great challenge by Nana Atakora to keep Ottawa in front, as Jahate was
look at the
space.
Look at the pace though by Pasha. He was very unfortunate the ball broke away from him, but my goodness, what a recovering tackle that is from Nana Atakora, going to ground, getting the ball behind. So we're hearing a couple of substitutions coming in.
Dane Kelly and Nico Perea are waiting for the opportunity to come in. That one dangerous at the near post. Manella looking for support. Outlets to Carl Howarth, but first there was Kenny Walker. Nabil Hackshaw as Indy 11, despite being now the Indy 10.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Sorry, it was too easy.
Oh my goodness.
But that's not stopping them as they continue to press for an equalizer.
Have you been holding that one for 5 years?
No, More Sam turns his man. More Sam trying to go forward. And I don't know if that went off Sam or if that was off Osman, but nonetheless, it was broken up. And a player down in the midfield for Indy here. Not sure if that was Gibson that went down, but back up and play carries on. Callum Irving well off his goal line to clear that one away. And Indy continuing to push. There's another ball played forward, and Irving there to collect that one with Jahate again closing him down.
Well, we talk about going down to 10 men, Graham. I think this has been Indy's best period these last 5-10 minutes. They've looked lively. Pasha's trying to get involved a little bit more down that far side, and I think it's more or less a case of the Fury again just have to settle things down. There's no need for them to panic. Maintain possession, find the space, get into it, let the ball do the work. You're up against 10 men. It should be far easier for you to find a black and red shirt pretty much with every single pass.
Well, it looks like the final sub for Ottawa is going to be Antoine Coupland, but Jamar Dixon moving forward for now for Ottawa, trying to get beyond Nabil Hackshaw, and that cross will win Ottawa another corner here in the 77th minute. Yeah, Carl Howarth is struggling here, and I think that's why we're going to see Coupland come into this game, as he's got a cramp in that right calf.
You see Jamar Dixon doing well, just getting in an advanced position, decided to take a shot. He knew it was probably going to get well blocked, but more than likely it was going to end up behind for a corner kick, and that's exactly what has happened for the Ottawa Fury here. And as you said, Coupland now going to be coming in. I'm not quite sure if Carl was the original player going to be coming off, Graham.
Well, you know what? The last couple minutes, I could see him signaling there was something there that wasn't feeling right for him, as we now see.
So Starikov has come off.
Starikov and off. Kelly is in. And Nico Perea into the game.
Didn't see who
and
he took
it looks like
yeah.
Kenny Walker has come off in behind the Ottawa goal.
Okay.
So that's the double substitution there.
And there you hear the roars of the Antoine Copeland fan club. Very pleased that the young man is getting another opportunity to strut his stuff here for the Fury.
Delivery from Moore Sam right
It's a
at the
free
near
kick,
post.
Free kick, yeah. Two of them came together. I think that's Thiago that's gone down as he was looking to get up to that front post.
Well, trying to replicate what he did Saturday night in North Carolina, as he did head it in at the near post. So
now Fury have made all 3 substitutions. So this will be very interesting as to is Thiago going to be able to continue, and Newton as well seems to have come up lane. And have they used all 3 substitutes as well?
No, just 2.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Kelly
Perea.
and Perea.
Yeah, so they still have the one if they need to change their goalkeeper, Jordan Farr, but
let's have a look at this here.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, looked like I think Thiago's going to be okay. He gets more of the mitts of the keeper. And he gets the elbow there too in the side of the temple.
It looked a sore one. Fair play to him for going for it. He's obviously, you know, as you said last week, his goal came, I think, a little bit further away from the goal, closer to the 6-yard box when he got that little flick in at the front post. But the two of them obviously came together. Thiago looks like he's fine. Back up, Fury still with 11 men. Indy down to 10, as you had mentioned.
Let's head back down pitch side while we have a break here with Tyler McDonald.
Thank you very much, Graham. And before this stoppage of play, we Indy 11 really had a lot of confidence going forward. And on their sideline, they have that belief that they can equalize this one, even though they are down a man. These last 2 subs, there wasn't much movement going on, not a lot of instruction going on at the Indy 11 touchline. But just as of that double substitution, things really kicking off and trying to regroup their team to try and at least squeak out a point here on the road. In terms of Ottawa Fury FC, Nikola Popovic looking for his team to react a little quicker to those balls and push a little bit more forward into when the ball is in the Indy 11 half, with Indy having possession. Want to get back to that quick reaction and get back to having an in-the-face approach against Indy 11 to try and stop their attack going forward. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Tyler. And just get another look at it here as Newton. We'll see if he's able to continue. They were working on the left ankle. Oh, it was his left ankle. He kind of rolled it coming down on the boot of Thiago. But
seems to be all right.
Work's been done. He'll be coming. He'll be staying in this one by the looks of it. He'll have to get his gloves back on. No, he's coming out. The signal is there. And you don't see this very often, but Jordan Farr is going to be coming into this match. He's appeared in 5 games this season for Indy 11, playing 378 minutes.
Now this is interesting, and I don't know if it's a major issue, but from what we've been told, Evan Newton's been wearing 0 the whole game. And now we have the substitution goalkeeper coming in. He's also going to wear 0 as well. So I'm not quite sure how that one's going to play out with regards to different shirt numbers. But either way, they are both down marked as 0 on the game sheet.
Newton typically wears number 1 as per Indy 11's roster.
Yeah, and as I said, just looking at it right here, it says 0, goalkeeper, Newton, Evan.
Well, when they were filling out their game sheets, there was foreshadowing. They didn't know it at the time, but here we are.
There we are. That's never good to see, though. I mean, especially a goalkeeper that's, you know, been in decent form. He's right up there with regards to, you know, top stats with shots and clean sheets. And obviously they'd want to have him back in there as quickly as possible. I'm sure Jordan Farr will come in, and if he has to play the next few games, then it will be someone that they can look at, depend on, and get the job done. As we said, Indy 11 have already guaranteed themselves a playoff spot. They're sitting quite comfortably 4 points ahead of Louisville City right now, but if they are losing this one, which would become their 4th loss in a row, Graham, it would really take a huge hit to their
a win tonight for Indy
playoff
would
aspirations as far
vault
as
them
top
up
4.
into second
Yes,
spot. So there was
exactly.
a lot for them to be played in this match here tonight, and the shot count currently 12-7 in favor of Ottawa. 5 of Ottawa's 12 on target, and as per the stats, none on target thus far for Indy 11, despite 7 efforts.
And Evan Newton just walking past us. He does have number 1 on, so the USL official game day lineup sheet that we had been provided was incorrect.
Great play by the youngster Antoine Coupland going up against the much bigger Nabil Hakshaw.
Now, who's got the better hair, though? That's what you have to ask yourself. Well, who has the better hair in that matchup right now?
As a self-proclaimed hair connoisseur.
Oh, let's not ask Tyler. Don't ask Tyler, for goodness sake. Listen, there's 7 minutes left to go, probably plus at least another, I would say 5, because we have had a couple of injuries. We have had the sending off situation. I think we're at least looking at plus 5 after 90, so the Fury really have to try and finish this off.
Here's Coupland. Oh, there's a foul for sure there by Nabil Hakshaw, who gets the boot into the shins of Coupland, and down he goes, and now set piece opportunity coming up here.
Well, there's a discussion in the back line right now. Dixon is just making sure that there's enough cover in the back. He's going to stay there. Manella's going to stay. And there's no white shirts at all for Indy 11.
Well, here's the thing. You say, you know, look, we're now into the 85th minute. You know, a second goal puts this one out of reach.
Yes.
But how much do you want to sacrifice in at the back end? And that's why Dixon and Manella remain back. Adekora up there. He goes up against Jordan Farr. And he'll quickly make his way back. Outlets to Nabil Hakshaw. Long ball forward looking for Dane Kelly. Great header by Jamar Dixon. And Moore Sam does the rest of the work. Now Thiago. As Indy continue to press. Jahate sends that one out wide. Played back in for Jahate, his header. That one will go out at the back post. And Pasher will look to keep it alive, and that will find Callum Irving.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate part for Indy 11 is Dixon has now gone down.
Jamar Dixon is down.
I think one of the unfortunate parts, just to finish that off for the Indy 11, is that since that nice little cross, that little dink cross that Pasher had played about 15-20 minutes ago, Graham, he really hasn't been able to get the service or get involved. They are trying to get him down this left-hand side, but Dixon's doing a really good job, and he's getting some help as well from players like Charlie Ward, Gagnon Lapere earlier, now Chris Manella. I didn't quite see what happened there to Jamar. Was it?
I don't know if it was something that he was carrying, but it's his, looks like his right ankle that he's favoring.
Ankle or calf? Yeah, looks like it's just the back of the right leg, and he does look in a little bit of distress as well. Well, this would be very interesting to finish out the final 5 minutes with 10v10. One for a sending off and one for an injury, having used all 3 of your subs. So I'm sure Coach Popovich will be hoping that Jamar Dixon will be able to get back and finish this match out in what would be 3 very, very massive points, because 3 points, Graham, would put you 6 up on St. Louis, who have 4 games left, and that would,
and a couple tough ones at that.
Yeah, and you look at it as well, that if you're able to hang on, this would give you 13 wins on the season. So for a tiebreaker, you're already 2 games up on St. Louis as it is. And if you're able to get those 6, well, Jamar Dixon, I'd be very surprised if he's coming back in. Manella has now dropped back into right back. Coupland looks like he's dropped into central midfield, and you've gone more or less, I would say, like a 4-4-1 or 4-3-2 as you finish out these final 4 or 5 minutes, plus time added on. So it is a 4-3-2 from what we're seeing. You've now got Thiago, Coupland and Ward as your 3 triangle in midfield. You've got Sam and Barry up front.
And here's more Sam. Can he get beyond Nabil Hakshaw? Hakshaw turns away, and now outlets to the speedster Tyler Pasher. Coupland there trying to close him down. Pasher too heavy of a touch. Charlie Ward back to Adekora. He clears that one away. Falls to Charlie Ward now. Haji Berry Farr comes well off his line, and a great play at that.
You know what, Graham? See, the minute that ball was played, Farr was already on his horse, jabbing outside the 18-yard box. Terrific read by the substitute goalkeeper coming in. Well, there is a possibility Dixon might be going back in here, Graham. He's stretching out that left calf, and now he goes back in. Well, there you are. What we thought was going to be a 10v10 situation is now back to 11. Manella possibly will get pushed back up again. Copeland will go back to his wide right position, and now you're back to your 4-3-3 system setup that you had from the start.
Haji Berry, can he find more Sam? Gets it forward. Nabil Hackshaw's there, gets a touch. Well defended by Hackshaw.
Yeah, I think the ball could have led Sam a little bit better. It was a bit too heavy. If he leads it towards goal instead of towards more Sam, I think it would have been a lot better. But unfortunately for the Fury, another counter-attack possibility failed to materialise.
Long ball over the top. Callum Irving on the edge of the 18. Down on one knee to collect that one. 89th minute here at TD Place. Ottawa remain in front 1-0 on that goal from their captain Carl Haworth in the 16th minute.
Well, we talk about how these two teams invariably end up playing very, very tight games, Graham, and this 1-0 scoreline as it is right now tends to lead credence to that whole approach, is that they match up very, very well as far as two teams that play decent football. There's skilled players all over the park, and just fortunately for the Ottawa Fury, you had the maestro with that right foot of his putting the ball into the back of the net for the free kick.
8 of the 12 lifetime meetings, not including tonight of course, decided by a goal or less. 11 of the 12 decided by 2 goals or less. So that just shows, wow, hearing that we are going to have Old Trafford style stoppage time here at TD Place tonight. 8 minutes of stoppage time, and like it's warranted.
We did expect it. I thought possibly 5, maybe 6, but the Jamar Dixon added probably another couple of minutes to it.
Red card, Howard, the keeper.
Tons of time
Dixon.
for Indy 11 to get back into this.
Delivery in from more Sam. Header by Anakora. That one missing by about a foot at the near post to the left of Jordan Farr.
Well, that would just have capped his evening off, wouldn't it? A goal by Nana Atakora, who has been absolutely monstrous in that back two pairing here this evening.
Sam can get it over to his left. Oh, Barry in acres of space. Let's head down pitch side and hear from Tyler McDonald. There's some final instructions coming from Martin Rennie to his side.
Yeah, and just those final instructions, Graham, came when Jamar Dixon was down, and really what it is trying to play a sweeper-keeper role on the back and move the ball forward. It's going to be a very interesting way that Indy 11 kind of bring this game to an end here, because they're going to be looking for an aggressive style and in trying to really pressure the Fury offense to try and get a turnover here. But look for the sweeper keeper, look for a lot of quick plays going up forward for Martin Rennie and his staff. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tyler. And more Sam Antoine Coupland in there for Ottawa. And then Coupland doing very well to put himself about and cause a nuisance to Dane Kelly on that last play. And Ottawa just happy to play it deep into the Indy half and continue to press them in there.
Yeah, Obasi almost playing like a rugby player there at the World Cup, just getting that ball into touch, getting it cleared well away from his back line. And it's just all about concentration now, Graham. You've got to see this out. He's in.
Haji Berry cuts inside, and again Nabil Hackshaw gets a touch to it to save things now for Indy 11.
Hackshaw's made 2 or 3 good defensive plays as a last defender there, Graham, to stop the Fury from adding to this total here tonight.
Dane Kelly turns and tries one from distance, and Callum Irving had to be quick to parry that one away, but Indy 11 still going here with the upcoming corner.
Yeah, Graham, 3 defenders around him there. There is absolutely no way she'd have got that shot away. When he turned the first defender, someone's got to get out and close that down. You can't just back off and let a player of that quality have a shot from 23, 24 yards out. Good stop, though, by Callum Irving. Just the referee just going to have a little word with a couple of players there that are pushing and shoving each other inside the 6-yard box.
Gibson sets to take the corner here for Indy. 93rd minute here at TD Place. We're hearing 8 minutes of stoppage time. Hackshaw with the header, and that one flicked up and over the bar, but a foul called with a high boot there inside the 6-yard box as Dixon went up for the header, and Irving coming out to challenge.
Well, Hackshaw winning that first ball was always going to be dangerous. He wins it, puts it right into the danger area. Where was the free kick?
No, just a push here.
By
just
number
a push there from Jahate on
Okay.
Dixon. I thought it was a high boot, but just enough contact in that.
Well, I got to tell you, Thomas Abasi, to me there is absolutely no need for him to be pushing up on that. Get yourself back into the back line. I understand it's going to be 2-0 looks a lot better, Graham, than 1-0, but you've got to see this match out. These 3 points are absolutely crucial. I said about when there was 7 games left in the season that 11 or 12 points were needed to make sure that they're guaranteed that 7 or 8 spot. They've already got 6. It's a possibility right now it becomes 9, and you start looking down the schedule that's left for the Ottawa Fury, and you're thinking, you know what, we've got Swope Park Rangers, we've got Bethlehem Steel, and the Charlotte Independents. If we're able to hang on here tonight, I see no reason why another 3 points at least can be picked up against those 3 teams.
Well, and if our viewers enjoyed this one tonight with just weeks remaining, the pressure is on. Tune into ESPN 3 tonight at 10:30 Eastern as El Paso Locomotive look to secure one of the final 3 playoff spots, while Fresno FC has its sights set on hosting a playoff game. It's Locomotive FC and the Foxes tonight at 10:30 Eastern for some Wednesday night soccer on ESPN 3. 95th minute now here at TD Place. Callum Irving's clearance.
And of course the Fury's next home game comes up October 12th, Graham, and I think the Fury will be hoping by at least that point when they host the Bethlehem Steel. Unfortunately, I won't be here. I'll be enjoying the wedding of my cousin back home in Scotland, but hope you and AJ have a good call of the game, and if it's an opportunity for the Fury to clinch a playoff spot, that'd be a great afternoon.
Haji Berry, can he get a shot away? This time he does. Great save by Jordan Farr. Falls to Cooper and he plays it back into the box, and Farr able to collect that one. You're going to miss out though, because that's Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes.
You know, for our listeners here in the United States, Thanksgiving in Canada next weekend. Imagine the media meal here in the press box scored. You're going to miss out.
Yeah, that's okay.
What are you having, haggis at the wedding?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to find out probably in a week or so when I get. Well, leaving Friday, so fingers crossed it'll be a wonderful time anyway.
Well, we bid you safe travels there, and we bid our colleague AJ Jackie back safe travels back home as he's touring Europe right now at a Europa League game tomorrow as Malmo takes on Copenhagen.
Yes, I'm sure he'll be enjoying that.
This one falls to Dane Kelly. Nabil Hackshaw just sends that one forward. First back for Ottawa. Thomas Mayer-Giguère heads it back to Callum Irving. He'll try and delay as much as he can with Jahate there to close him down. Irving boots it forward. Nabil Hackshaw. Oh, good flick there by Moore Sam, as he did get it instead of Hackshaw. Atakora first under that for Ottawa. Charlie Ward, powerful header all the way back to Callum Irving as we tick over into the 97th minute here at TD Place. Hackshaw again for Indy. He has been, for me, the best player in white tonight for the visitors. Coupland gets a second touch to it, now finds more Sam. Sam tries to slow it down, cuts inside. Sam still going. He'll try one on target. Oh, whipped it nicely with the left boot, but just missed high and wide at the back post.
Yeah, Coupland had made a nice little run to take away a defender, and unfortunately for Sam, as he opened up to go into that top left-hand corner, just got underneath it a little bit. We're inside almost the final minute of the 8. I would doubt there's any more time to be added after that, Graham.
Chasing it down was more Sam. It falls loose, but he was down on the ground and I think would have been called for the offside. Anyways, Nabil Hackshaw forward to Kelly. Dane Kelly. 98th minute here at TD Place as Indy continue to press for that equalizer. They move it around. This one played into the box. No pressure coming there to Callum Irving. He'll collect this one.
Well, and all,
and
Graham, that was a poor ball into the box. You had 3 lads lined up along the 18-yard box.
More Sam. Tries to beat his man. More Sam still going against Osmond. Now he'll look to take it to the corner flag. Tries to play it back for Coupland. That one's intercepted. One back by Chris Manella to Antoine Coupland. What a big moment for him to come into this game and get the trust from his manager to play big minutes in such a clutch game, and he's been fantastic since coming on. And there's the final whistle. A massive 1-0 victory for Ottawa Fury FC over Indy 11. Ottawa gets back in the win column, and they will look back on this game as a crucial moment in their 2019 campaign. A great effort from start to finish tonight, Gordon.
It really was, and now, unfortunately for Indy 11, you've now lost 4 games in a row. I believe, looking at that, they've all been on the road. You now have 2 final games at Lucas Oil Stadium, Memphis and Swope Park, to finish off with a game at Al Lang Stadium in Tampa Bay in between. But make no doubt about it, this was a total team effort from start to finish. Yes, you played against a team with 10 men for roughly 30 minutes. That doesn't matter. We've seen in the past for the Ottawa Fury, when they've gone to finish out games against teams with 10 men, they haven't done it. They've struggled. I think outside of 1 or 2 half chances, they kept things very, very tight at the back. And for my money, when we start talking about the player of the game, there may be 1 or 2 out there. I think the big lad that get drafted back in here tonight, Nana Atakora, was absolutely outstanding.
Final score from TD Place tonight, Ottawa Fury FC 1, Indy 11 0. We'll be back to wrap things up. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
These photos I had to dig for because I would hide from photos. I didn't want to be acknowledged. What I would say to my former self is just get started, just begin. Go into Good Life, meet with the trainer, go to a class, just start.
Come on, come on.
Come on, go make some friends.
It's so tough to give them a run in the city, but they really love it here. Be gentle, be gentle.
We're making friends. See the one that, well, it's just going in circles?
Yeah.
That's mine. Off.
Come on, time to go. Come here.
The all-new cross trick.
Come here. Now.
It's up for
Oh,
it.
no. Oh, there he goes.
I just shampooed him this morning.
There are 8 million kids in Canada. By the time I finish this sentence, 6 of us will be cyberbullied. By the end of the month, 1 million. Bullied. We're not okay with that.
Welcome back inside TD Place. Final score tonight, Ottawa Fury FC 1, Indy 11 0. It was a chilly one tonight, but on the field it was hot. Hot early throughout the course of this game. Indy finishing with 10 men. Cards were aplenty on the night. That's rivalry soccer. You've got 2 teams now have played each other 13 times in their history. Ottawa, with tonight's victory, winning 7 of those 13 games. No love lost between these 2 sides. Doesn't matter how much you change the rosters over the course of the years.
Or the leagues.
Yeah, exactly. But that was as entertaining of a 90 minutes that you're going to see. And that's a massive 3 points for Ottawa tonight.
It really is. And I mean, when you look at the points that were dropped in North Carolina last week after that first 45 minutes, I remember you sending out a tweet saying it's quite possibly the best 45 minutes you've seen on the road this season. Unfortunately, the second half just couldn't hang on. 1 or 2 mistakes. They end up falling 3-1. This performance tonight, though, again, just shows what this team can do. If they play as a unit, they're starting to get... Don't forget, you had Francois and Fallout as well. So when you look at those players coming back in, now Sam's fully fit, he's getting some more games. We saw a nice effort late on in the game for him. Hadji Berry, as the season goes on for him, he's going to get more comfortable working with Moore Sam, Oliveira, Francois, whoever's in there alongside him. So I think it's setting up nicely. They've got 9 points of the 11 or 12 that I was looking for with 7 games left to go. I think I wouldn't say it's job done yet, but it's looking very, very good. And I'm sure the Fury will be hoping that game on Saturday between Charleston and Birmingham will end up at 1-1 or 2-2, because 1 point for each of them would set up the Fury very, very nicely to grab a playoff spot. And certainly that's 7 or 8 and have a midweek game, first round of the playoffs right here in their own backyard.
4 straight loss for Indy 11, just 1 goal now in their last 4 games, all 4 of those coming away from home. Of course, they have that impressive, was it 23 game unbeaten run going at home. So that's certainly in their favor. But for tonight, for Ottawa Fury FC, that was a blinder of a goal from the captain, Carl Howarth, in the 16th minute. But really what got the job done tonight, what got them, earned them the 3 points here tonight, was their defensive play. And there's probably about a handful of players that you could give the man of the match honor to. But for tonight, it goes to the man who made his return to the lineup for the first time since the 24th of July. They haven't lost when he's been in the lineup this season.
You brought that stat up earlier on, and it was amazing to hear, because obviously we talked about last year, but it's all about this year. You've got 4 games left to go now. I think he's got to hang his hat on Atakora and Merjaguer together. The 2 of them I thought were outstanding together this evening. Even when Indy 11 were up again, had 11 men. The fact is, those balls were getting played, trying to get played down the channels and up and over the 2 of them. And they were winning that first ball every single time, and invariably the second ball was getting picked up by a Fury player. The 2 of them are outstanding. The thing that switched it to Nana from Thomas was that goal-saving tackle that he made about 10 yards out. When the ball came off, he had to swivel, go to ground, and got the shot blocked. And that right there is a man of the match. Goal-saving, game-saving, 3-point saving tackle.
Let's have a look at our match stats, brought to you by Rico, and you can see it there. 13 shots for Ottawa on the night, 10 for Indy 11, but the big one is the shots on target. Ottawa with 5, and Indy didn't get their first shot until on the cusp of stoppage time when Dane Kelly had that effort from about 23, 24 yards out. That was the only shot on target, and it was a heck of a save from Callum Irving. But for Ottawa to have that performance tonight, to keep a team of Indy's quality, when you look at what they have, the depth of their bench, regardless of whether they had 10 men or not, for the latter part of that second half. That's an outstanding performance defensively, and for me, that's the one stat that I look at and say, hey, you held this team to 1 shot on target on the night. That's job well done.
And we did say at the start of the game, Callum Irving was the player player to watch for the Fury, simply because, irrespective of what had happened in the last 2 games, and irrespective of a game like tonight, when for long stretches you've got nothing to do, you're back there more or less just watching how your back four's playing in front of you. But when you were called upon in the 91st, 92nd minute, you made that save that you had to make. You kept it at 1-0. And as I said, I think that entire back 4 tonight were terrific. I thought Dixon and Obasi were doing well on the flanks to stop it. Pasha is a tough player to play against. Quick feet, quick pace. I thought Dixon on the right and Obasi on the left did a great job against them. Kept him on the periphery of the game, unable to penetrate into behind the back. The only one time he did, it was Thiago coming back and getting that header at the back post to keep it out, still at 1-0. So a wonderful all-round performance. I'm sure we'll hear some post-match comments from the coach with regards to how they played and how big a 3 points this was, but make no doubt about it, this was a massive 3 points. You had to stop the bleeding after the loss on the weekend. You've done so against a really, really good team. You've now beaten Tampa midweek. You've now beaten Indy 11 midweek. I'm sure if you got a playoff game midweek, you'd be more than happy, no matter who it is that you're going to end up playing, to be playing midweek here at TD Place.
Before we have a look at the 3 games remaining for Ottawa Fury FC, the one other point I want to make, and I think it was a really special moment tonight, because this was a huge game for Ottawa. You're up 1-0, and you got to close this game out. And the coach looks up and down the bench, and what are your substitute options? And you go with the youngster and Antoine Coupland. And he comes into the game, and you notice him. And how many times did we say his name? He put himself about. He went up against the big fellas. He got stuck in, made some great plays, and I think that's a huge mark of trust and confidence from his manager, Nikola Popovic, to put him in a game in that moment tonight.
He's here for a reason. He's not here because he's a local kid and he's, we got to make up the number. No, he's out here because he's a talented kid. And when you saw him out there tracking back and going up against guys that were 4, 5, 6 inches and about 45, 50 pounds heavier than him, I mean, he's about 100 pounds soaking wet, the lad is. But he gets stuck in. He did not quit. And that's exactly what I think this Ottawa Fury, you try to get the identity for them. We talk about a team's identity. They just don't quit. They just keep coming at you. Even in games where they've lost this season, they still keep coming. And I think that's epitomised in what we've seen by young Copeland here tonight.
3 games remaining for Ottawa Fury FC, and their busy week continues. They're on the road Saturday in Swope Park. So that'll be another big game for them. Sorry, they're not playing this weekend. I'm off.
Yes.
They're back in action next Tuesday, in Swope Park. And then they return home on the 12th, Thanksgiving weekend, the final regular season home game here at TD Place. That one, a 2 o'clock kickoff against Bethlehem Steel before they head out on the road to close things out against the Charlotte Independents, the final day of the USL regular season on the 19th of October. And as things stand right now, this team unquestionably playoff bound. The question is, where are they going to finish? And with that result tonight, they now put themselves, again, 2 points back of North Carolina FC. You're level on games. You are 3 points back of 6th place Louisville. And those two sides have some pretty tough games remaining. They're playing the likes of New York and Tampa and Nashville. St. Louis is mixed in there as well. So there's some crucial games for those teams against some tough teams that are also for fighting for points, for the playoffs, for positioning higher up the table. So lots still to be played for in the 3 remaining weeks of the USL calendar.
And the 3 games that the Fury have left, 2 of them are against teams that are already eliminated, and 1 is on the cusp of being eliminated. I think it's just more a numerical. The number of points they can still get is greater than the team sitting in 10th spot right now. So 3 very, very winnable games, home and away. The Fury just have to go on the road, do the job against Swope Park, and come back here and hopefully against Bethlehem, if it's not already playoff guaranteed, do the business against Bethlehem on October 12th.
Gord, always a pleasure calling
Cheers,
games
mate.
with you, and hopefully we have you back for playoff soccer.
There we go.
We're going to miss the regular season finale here. For our entire broadcast crew, our producer, Professor Colin Murphy, for Tyler McDonald and Gordon Smith, I'm Graham Ivory. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.